Have you ever found yourself wide awake at 2 in the morning, bathed in the harsh blue glow of a smartphone screen? The city outside is quiet, but your mind is racing, your stress levels are humming, and maybe you are even reaching for a late night snack. In that exact moment, it feels like just another restless night in the modern world. But deep inside your chest, a profound biological confusion is taking place. What if the root cause of cardiovascular disease, the silent thing aging our hearts faster than nature intended, isn't just what we eat or how much we exercise, but a fundamental breakdown in how we experience time itself?
That is perhaps one of the most vital questions we can ask in modern medicine. For millions of years, human biology was entirely dictated by planetary cycles. Sunrise meant activation. Darkness meant recovery. But within just the last century, we have completely shattered that ancient rhythm. We have engineered a society of perpetual daylight, endless stimulation, and around-the-clock consumption. And you are absolutely right. The heart is paying the ultimate price for this artificial existence. We are beginning to realize that the cardiovascular system does not just run on blood and oxygen, it runs on a very strict, uncompromising biological clock.
It is a fascinating paradigm shift. We usually think of the heart as a mechanical pump, just beating away until it eventually wears out. But looking through the lens of circadian biology, it is so much more than that. It is a highly sensitive organ tuned to the rotation of the Earth. So how exactly does the body know what time it is? There has to be a master timekeeper orchestrating all of this, right?
Precisely. And that master timekeeper is a tiny, incredibly powerful cluster of cells buried deep inside the brain's hypothalamus called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. Think of it as the grand conductor of the body's biological symphony. This structure is directly wired to your eyes. When morning sunlight hits your retina, that light signal travels straight to the brain, effectively hitting a biological reset button. It tells the entire body, the sun is up, it is time to release cortisol, increase core temperature, and prepare the cardiovascular system for the demands of gravity and movement. Light literally programs our physiology.
So, in a very literal sense, we are solar-powered machines. When we catch that morning light, the conductor raises the baton and the heart rate and blood pressure naturally rise to meet the day. But what happens when the sun goes down? Because I imagine the heart does not just keep playing at the same tempo.
Not at all. And this is where the magic of cardiovascular longevity actually happens. As darkness falls, the brain begins to secrete melatonin. Now, most people just think of melatonin as a sleep supplement you buy at the pharmacy, but it is actually a crucial signaling hormone that tells the body to transition into repair mode. For the heart, this means the parasympathetic nervous system takes over. Blood pressure drops, heart rate slows down, and the blood vessels literally relax. This nighttime dip is not just passive rest. It is a highly active, metabolically expensive process where the body clears out inflammation, repairs the endothelial lining of the arteries, and recovers from the oxidative stress of the day.
That completely shatters the idea that sleep is just an off switch. It sounds more like the night shift cleaning crew coming in to fix the damage we did during the day. If that blood pressure does not drop, the pipes never get a break from the pressure.
That is a brilliant way to put it. If the cleaning crew never gets the signal to start working, the damage accumulates, and that is exactly what we are seeing today. Because we are constantly exposing ourselves to artificial blue light late into the evening, we are suppressing that natural melatonin release. We are telling our brains that it is perpetually high noon. The cardiovascular system stays in a state of low-grade alert. Over years and decades, this chronic lack of deep, rhythmic recovery accelerates the biological aging of the heart.
It is almost tragic when you think about it. We have built these incredibly convenient, illuminated lives, but in doing so, we have accidentally initiated a mass experiment in biological aging. And it is not just light, is it? It is also how we fuel ourselves. I am definitely guilty of the occasional midnight raid on the fridge. Does eating at odd hours confuse the system just as much as artificial light?
It absolutely does, and the mechanism behind it is mind-blowing. We talked about the master clock in the brain, but science has recently discovered that virtually every single organ and nearly every cell in your body has its own internal molecular clock. Your liver, your pancreas, your gut, and your cardiovascular tissues all have their own timing mechanisms. While the brain's clock is set by light, these peripheral organs are largely set by food.
Wait, so my liver is keeping track of when I eat that late night pizza?
Exactly. When you eat a heavy meal at midnight, your brain is getting signals from the darkness saying it is time to sleep and repair, but your digestive system and liver are suddenly forced to say, "Wake up, we have a massive influx of glucose and lipids to process." You create a state of internal jet lag. The organs fall out of sync with the brain. This erratic eating disrupts glucose regulation, spikes insulin at the wrong times, and triggers systemic inflammation. And because the vascular system is so sensitive to metabolic chaos, this internal misalignment directly impairs the heart's ability to heal itself overnight.
That is a terrifyingly clear image. We are basically forcing our internal organs to live in completely different time zones. The brain is in New York, the liver is in Tokyo, and the poor heart is just caught in the middle of the chaos, trying to keep everything running. This makes me think of the people who bear the absolute brunt of this modern lifestyle, shift workers.
Shift work is arguably one of the most profound examples of circadian disruption, and the data surrounding it is sobering. When people are forced to stay awake, work, and eat during the biological night, and then try to sleep during the biological day, they are constantly fighting millions of years of evolutionary programming. The result is a drastically increased risk of hypertension, obesity, metabolic syndrome, and severe cardiovascular disease. The body is remarkably resilient, but it cannot adapt to chronic, severe misalignment. When behavioral timing repeatedly conflicts with biological timing, the system simply breaks down.
It really forces you to step back and ask a deeply philosophical question about the true cost of our 24/7 society. We celebrate the convenience of next-day delivery, overnight flights, and constant connectivity, but the invisible price tag is human health. We are trading our cardiovascular longevity for societal efficiency.
We are, and we are doing it at the cellular level. When we look closely at the cells of the heart, we can actually see clock genes oscillating in a 2-4 hour rhythm, regulating everything from oxidative stress defense to protein synthesis. When this cellular symphony loses its rhythm due to our modern lifestyles, the cells literally become less efficient at surviving. They lose their biological coordination.
It is like an orchestra where half the musicians are playing a waltz and the other half are playing heavy metal. It is just biological noise. But surely, knowing all of this, we are not entirely helpless. Where does medicine go from here? If the problem is time, can the cure also be time?
That is exactly where the frontier of longevity science is heading. We are entering the era of circadian medicine. Instead of just asking what a patient is eating or what medication they are taking, we are starting to ask when they are doing it. We are looking at chrononutrition, restricting eating windows to daylight hours to align with metabolic peaks. We are using targeted light therapy to anchor the brain's master clock. And we are relying on advanced wearables not just to count steps, but to measure sleep consistency, heart rate variability, and autonomic recovery. The goal is to use technology to interpret these rhythms and help us simulate the natural environment we lost.
So the ultimate biohack for the future isn't some experimental synthetic compound. It is actually a return to something ancient. It is about restoring biological harmony, reclaiming the dark, honoring the light, and giving the body the predictability it craves.
Beautifully said. The human body, and especially the heart, was never designed to endure perpetual stimulation. It evolved through the elegant rhythm of light and darkness, activity and rest, feeding and fasting. The most profound intervention for cardiovascular longevity might simply be allowing time to flow naturally through the body once again. When we respect the rhythm, the heart endures.
It is a powerful reminder that we cannot out-engineer nature, but we can certainly learn to dance to its tempo again. The heart runs on rhythm, and perhaps it is time we finally started listening to the beat.